Bonjour, hello. I'm Peter Julian. I'm the Member of Parliament for Burnaby, New Westminster, and just a few moments ago tabled Bill C577, which advocates tax fairness for hard of hearing Canadians. This bill has been endorsed by a number of important national organizations, and their representatives are here today, as well as Tony Martin, the NDP Disabilities Critic. Alors, il y a quelques minutes à peine, j'ai présenté au nom du MPD le projet de loi C577, qui est un projet de loi qui prévoit l'équité et l'égalité pour les personnes malentendantes au pays dans le système d'impôt. Cet projet de loi est endorsé par plusieurs organisations importantes nationales et leurs représentantes sont ici aujourd'hui, puis ils vont se présenter dans quelques minutes. On a aussi M. Tony Martin, qui est notre critique en matière des personnes handicapées. Alors, merci beaucoup pour votre intérêt et je vais demander à Michel David, de l'Association des Canadiennes des malentendants, d'adresser.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning. My name is Michel David. I am the National Project Coordinator with the Canadian Hard of Hearing Association. We represent over 3 million Canadians with hearing loss. And we urge the Government of Canada to amend the words contained in the eligibility criteria under the disability tax credit as it applies to people with hard of hearing. The present criteria states that a person who is hard of hearing is eligible only if he cannot understand a familiar person in a quiet setting, even if he uses a hearing aid. With all due respect, we do not live our lives in quiet rooms. We do not talk only to people we know. And when I take this off, I am profoundly deaf. I ask you, if someone uses a wheelchair, does that person become ineligible because he uses a wheelchair? Then why am I being discriminated on because I use a hearing aid? This criterion has caused a great deal of anxiety and misunderstanding among professionals who signed the disability tax credit certificate. Now, there is only one place where the criteria has come up to case law. This is Barber versus the Queen, which is the only place where the court has set out its purpose of the Income Tax Act in relation to the disability tax credit. It acknowledges that the question of these definition of these terms was squarely before it, and it proceeded to give a definition. It is the law from Barber versus the Queen on which we have based our recommendations. Now, in response to complaints and about this uncertainty from many of our members, the Canadian Hard of Hearing Association set up a national working group, and we developed a proposal to revise the criteria in an effort to bring effect to the purpose of the disability tax credit. In developing our position, we consulted with our members right across the country, as well as key organizations such as the Canadian Association of Speech-Language Pathologists and Audiologists, the Canadian Academy of Audiologists, and Voice for Hearing Impaired Children. To all people who are hard of hearing, to all family members, I ask you to take action. It's time to let your voice be heard. It's time to give visibility to this unseen disability. More information is available on our website at chha.ca. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Norah-Lynn McIntyre. I'm the Executive Director for Voice for Hearing Impaired Children. and I'm here today to support, on behalf of Voice for Hearing Impaired Children, the recommended changes to the disability tax credit as proposed by Peter Julian in the House today under BC 577. Hearing loss in children is a lifelong condition for which families and the children themselves will suffer increased costs. The disability tax credit is intended to help offset the additional costs of a disability. Many of our families have had their applications denied. The true everyday listening environment, for example in a school classroom, are not quiet settings. The existing criteria for eligibility for the tax credit and subsequently for the disability savings plan discriminates against individuals with hearing loss who use cochlear implant or digital hearing aid technology and who've learned to speak. Many children with hearing loss in Canada are now benefiting from early diagnosis of their hearing loss and have access to technology. This enables them to learn to hear and to learn spoken language. This is a tremendous step forward in enabling their full participation in our hearing society. This costly assistive listening devices does not eliminate their disability. They are, for all intents and purposes, still deaf. There are many times during the course of their daily living that they cannot maximize the use of this technology. For example, when a child with a hearing loss may not be able to benefit from their hearing aids or cochlear implants, it could be any time they're in a background noise situation, if they're in a loud street noise, wind blowing, interior fans, computers, air conditioning, equipment humming such as a fridge or an overhead projector, chairs moving, people talking, doors closing, radio, television. Large and open spaces with noise and reverberation such as a gymnasium, movie theater, arena, church, or auditorium. In distance, typically more than 3 feet. Sleeping, they must remove their assistive listening devices. Swimming and water parks, they must remove their assistive listening devices. Bathing, they must remove their technology. Sports, their helmets will interfere with the sound quality. Playgrounds, they must remove cochlear implant technology to play on indoor or outdoor play equipment because of a buildup of static electricity damaging their hearing equipment. Blow-up bouncy party equipment must remove the implant due to the static problem. Assistive devices malfunctioning or batteries dying. The disability tax credit is a non-refundable tax credit that is intended to apply to persons with hearing loss who have a permanent impairment that restricts their ability to perform functions of daily living, even with the use of their hearing aids. Unfortunately, the disability tax credit's definition to determine eligibility is inappropriate because of ambiguous terminology, which leaves it open to misinterpretation. It is the experience of Voice for Hearing Impaired Children families that the authorization of the disability tax credit is subject to individual and varied professional interpretation, which results in non-standardized eligibility. We wholeheartedly support this bill. Thank you.